And hello, everyone out in the DC universe. Welcome to another episode of Straight Outta Gotham, episode 167. We're a fandom pop culture podcast and proud members of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by batman-on-film.com. Please check out all our other friendly shows over at BOF by clicking that podcast drop down to see what they have to offer. I am your co-host from the other side of the Hudson River, senior contributor to Batman on Film. I am Peter R. Vera. Today we're recording on January 19th, 2025. As always, we have a great show for you today. But before we get into the good stuff, I'd like to remind you, all our faithful listeners, to take the time and review our show on Apple Podcasts. And if we read your review on air, you just won our monthly contest. So please be in it to win it. And now let me introduce you to my partner in crime, the man who will personally carry Aaron Rodgers' bags anywhere he wants to get him out of Jet Life Stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, his greatness, the champion of Long Island, Eric Holzman.
Hello there. Welcome, everybody. Hello, Pete. Hello, world. How's everyone doing?
Where did you go? Anywhere local, or did you travel international? What did you do this in between shows?
I have not been anywhere. I've been local. I've been home.
It's hard keeping track of you recently.
Yeah, I have been traveling a lot, but I've been home for now. I'm looking to take a little mini trip somewhere. In the next few weeks, maybe. But
what's a mini trip? Is it like across the country?
Like a weekend thing.
Across? Okay.
Yeah, let's just do like a weekend. I think maybe going down. I have friends who live in Orlando, so I think maybe go down there, hang out them.
Oh, the old stomping grounds, Florida.
Yeah. Yep. I have not been back since 2008.
Eric's wearing an orange shirt, so he's ready to go.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. But no, I haven't been to Galaxy's Edge yet at Disney World, and I want to do that. So
no desire to see the Magic
that weekend. No.
no Knicks Magic game.
No,
usually, don't you go road tripping with the sports team? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they played them already. All 4 games they played already.
That was fast.
I know. It's weird that it's done before the All-Star break, but yeah.
I'm going to blame that stupid tournament.
Yeah, that's true. I don't like that. Well, whatever. Kind of silly, that tournament. But apparently it's getting more and more interest from what I've been reading. So
okay. I don't really hear anybody ever talk about it, so
the marketing for it has been strong.
They just got it sponsored, right, by Emirates.
Yeah,
isn't that like a
so.
Foreign government?
It's an airline.
I was thinking of the UAE or whatever it is.
Oh,
but isn't the airline owned by that government?
I don't know if it's owned by the government. I think it's owned by someone there.
I think everything over there is a little wishy-washy,
Well, that's a whole other topic, but yeah. I don't know that for certain, but I would not be surprised.
All right.
So, all right. Well, we have stuff to get into, as always. But we were going to do this last week, and we weren't able to hammer down a date to record. So let's quickly talk about Creature Commandos and the season that was, I guess. The finale and the season that was. For me, I enjoyed the season. Again, wasn't earth-shattering, wasn't groundbreaking. There was nothing about it that I was like, oh, that was fantastic. But it was enjoyable. I got to know these characters a little bit more. The finale was, I don't know if underwhelming is the term, but it was just kind of okay for me. But it did tie up a lot of loose ends, and it kind of set up where these characters will be when we see them next. So I think that's kind of what the goal was. I still have affinity for certain characters. I really like Dr. Phosphorus. Thought he was a good character. Kind of a weird ending for Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Right?
Frankenstein might have been my least favorite part of the whole thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So what did you think of the season overall and then the finale?
Essentially the same thoughts as you. It was okay. Right. I enjoyed it. It wasn't great. Seemed, and I know James Gunn excels at this type of story, ragtag team. And I'm honestly just kind of watching it and I'm wondering like, oh, how does James Gunn actually make a Superman movie? Like I've seen him do this stuff so many times now with team ups and creatures and rejects and such, and I'm like, okay, well, how? Well, I'm trying to figure out how the humor and everything fits in Superman. So I'm kind of I'm kind of looking at it like that. Standout characters though, the robot and Nina, the fish girl. I thought she was great. Um, you know, at times I did feel like it was essentially a season of, oh, here's a team and we're going to show you an episode introducing each member,
Yeah.
because I don't even remember what Cersei and that queen of, I don't know, Russiastan, like I don't even remember what they have in common or why they had to kill her. So like the story wasn't exactly the greatest. It seemed to be the highlights were everyone's origin. So it was kind of like essentially a season of single origin tales.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I'd agree with that. They were all done flashback style too, right? So everything was a look back, except for Flag. You know,
yeah,
that's the
I
one
guess we
character,
already got one flag, so we don't.
right? So
Don't
we
have
didn't
to
get
go too
much.
deep into that.
Yep. I agree with you. I do remember why they had to kill her, because Cersei came from the future and basically said that she tries to take over the world and does and destroy everything. So
Okay.
that's what she claims. And then they had to make the switch to kill her, and then it turned out that she wasn't telling the truth, and I don't know, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Clayface got involved at some point.
yep.
you
Like
know.
we got a lot of introduction to characters too.
Mhm.
And we'll see. Obviously, the infamous one was Batman. Uh, he showed up in this series in cartoon form, so that was kind of not something I don't think something I don't think any of us expected, but we did get a shot at
Yeah. I
Batman.
mean, hey, it looked like Batman.
Yep, exactly.
Batman
So
looked like Batman.
I think it was like you said. I agree with you. It was a good for a good opening salvo. It was good for Gunn to get something in that we knew like he could handle to kind of
Hmm.
build confidence in the brand. So I think from that perspective, it was probably a very very strong series. We know it's getting a second season, so must be someone saying, "Hey, go forward with this thing." And there was enough of a response.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just kind of okay. Like I think a lot of people feel the same. Like we just want to see Superman now, and
Yeah.
that's what we're waiting for.
Yeah. It's
So
just, to kick off the DCU. It's like, no, it's Superman. It's not this stupid cartoon. Like,
right,
that's what
and
I'm
only
waiting
because
for.
yes, and we probably wouldn't have gotten it first if it wasn't already kind of done. It was something that he had already pitched, so and had developed, so he already had it ready to go, and
Yeah.
so I guess to get something out there, they were like, yeah, just do that first.
Yeah.
Um,
I do wonder if this ever had any connection to the previous installment when he was doing Suicide Squad or whatever. Like, just, it seems like it seems to have been a passion project, and he had the idea for a while and he was hammering it out, and
right,
there's a lot of connective tissue there. So I was just,
yeah,
I like how I like production stories in Hollywood.
yeah. I mean, like I said, it was how the whole thing came about, and we touched on this last episode. Was he before he got the job as head of the DC movie universe or connected universe, whatever you want to call it, going forward? He had pitched this already. This was something he had already planned out for them. So it just became part of this new installment. And like I said, because it was already done, essentially, they could shoot it and go forward with it. Um, so yeah, again, it was a good introductory thing. I think it was good to get everyone saying, okay, like when is this happening? Like we would have had to wait a little longer. But it leads into the second part, or one of the things coming from the DC universe. We know Superman is coming in July, right? July or June. I always get the
July.
mixed up. July, and Supergirl has started filming. So Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, has begun filming. Um, we don't know much about it. It's based on the DC comic book series, but obviously
If
it's
that's
not
the
a
case,
direct.
then we know everything about
Yeah, but I
it.
don't, I don't. But you let me finish. I was going to say I'm sure it's not a direct adaptation of it.
Hmm.
Um, so, and you said you didn't
It's
like it, right? So
I
you're
didn't
probably
like it, but it
thinking it's
seems like
not.
they are adapting it pretty faithfully. From what I understand, Supergirl basically is out out in space and meets this chick who needs her parents' death avenged, and they go on this adventure. Like, it's kind of essentially what the movie is. Well, that's what the original story is. So
And Lobo and all that.
I actually don't remember Lobo popping up. I think that's just as Bill would say, a wink and a nod, right? Like the extended universe. I think that's where I actually don't remember, but that's how much I dislike the story. I don't remember much of it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I finally get a Supergirl movie, and I'm like, I'll just rewatch the TV show. I think.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, that's why I threw in the Lobo thing, because
Yeah.
if he has a large role in it, that's obviously not from the comic.
No,
So
no.
we'll see what happens.
It's definitely be like, hey, look, by the way, we got Lobo coming.
Right. It could just be like, he has a little 5-minute thing at the end where he's, they're
Mhm.
saying, oh, he's in this universe, and then they go from there.
I guess I have to
Um,
reread this story because I actually don't remember if Lobo's in it at all.
but but yeah, so that's coming. That began filming. Like I said, we know that Superman is coming in July. Supergirl has also cast. Well, they have also cast her parents. So David Krumholtz, who most people know, usually plays like the goofy, the goofy weird guy role of in a lot of things. He is playing her father, and Emily Beecham will be
Mhm.
playing her mother. So there you go.
So we're fleshing out the L family pretty fast here. We got Superman's uncle and his aunt. I wonder. I'm interested to see how they play into it. Usually, it's kind of an interesting rivalry. So depending on like what version of Supergirl you actually kind of pay attention to. Like either the L brothers are really kind of like close and tight, or at some point they kind of have a falling out. And one point I believe it's Supergirl's written to kill Superman, or and there's several different versions out there that can be interpreted. Obviously, I kind of like the one where Kara's sent out there to protect him. So we'll see. I'm interested to see how Krypton looks. It's just it gives us a little bit more of that. It's just it's weird talking about a Supergirl movie before the Superman movie right even comes out because like I don't have any real feeling. I don't know. There's nothing for me to go off of.
It is. When they announced that Supergirl would probably be the next film, or would be the next film after Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this series, because we know we're getting like Swamp Thing, and we're supposed to get Clayface. I don't know how those fit into this, if
Yeah,
at all. But it is interesting that they're going with the super characters, both of them first. So
it's
we
yeah.
also know,
I just
right?
because they're so closely related,
Yeah,
obviously. Even just like both Kryptonians, all that. Just like I don't know anything about. Yeah, Superman's my introduction to his lore, and I just it'd be one thing if the Superman. It was different for I would say like when she appeared in the Flash, right? Because it was like,
right.
oh well, you kind of had an idea of Cavill, and you knew she was supposed to be the female Cavill, so you had ideas of how she was going to kind of carry out things, and so on and so forth, and obviously Zod and everything. And you're very familiar with all that stuff from the first Man of Steel movie. Here, it's just I'm wondering because it's also such a departure from what Superman probably is going to be, right? Like Superman's going to be very on world. This
Yeah,
whole movie's off world.
yeah.
It's a space adventure. This is more like what I would think of a Green Lantern movie than I would a Supergirl movie, to be honest. So which is an interesting thing because it's very different. Which is probably why they did this to begin with because it's so different from what this TV show was, even though that hasn't been on air for 4 years now and it was only 5 seasons. It's going to
Yeah,
be very different. So maybe that's probably why
yeah.
they went with the whole Woman of Tomorrow thing. But yeah,
Well, that's
it's
what
just kind of
Gunn.
funky.
Yeah, Gunn kind of said that it's a different story. Obviously from Superman, who was sent to Earth, raised by parents here, and then this Supergirl who was raised on, um, not even on Krypton, kind of like part of it, and he says watch everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life. And then she comes to Earth. So
It's different than Helen Slater's, obviously, right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
so
So it's gonna be. I'm intrigued by this story. I don't have. Obviously, I didn't read the comic, so I
I
don't
hope it's
have
better
the
than the
back.
book.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't have any preconceived notions going in, so for me, it probably helps. But for people who have read the comic, I haven't heard anyone talk about it glowingly. I'll say that. It's not just
It's
you. But
beautiful to look at. Like the artist,
yeah.
Evely, she is a fantastic artist. Like it's probably some of the best looking Supergirl content you get your hands on. You
Okay.
know, she's no Michael Turner. Obviously, Michael Turner is probably my favorite Supergirl artist of all time. But very interesting, especially all the outer space stuff and everything. Evely did a really wonderful job of that. And you know, the whole reason I picked up that story is because it was written by Tom King, and Tom King's one of my favorite writers. So I was kind of surprised I didn't enjoy it.
So it was a miss for you from King, but that happens.
It
I'm not
happens.
gonna
It's
love
time to
everything.
time, you know. Like, but then
Yeah.
again, like I loved Killing Time, and a lot of people don't talk about that book enough, and that's a different Batman story. But you know, it's just that's the whole, you know, it's the whole gag.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So sticking with DC, and you brought up the Flash. The director Andy Muschietti, obviously, who right now is still slated to be the director for the new Batman film, spoke about the Flash, and he said that the film flopped because it wasn't a movie that appealed to the four quadrants. Now, I didn't even know what the four quadrants were. Um,
I heard a lot about this, the four quadrants for the first time around. It was like Justice League. A lot of people said that the Justice League movie wasn't going to hit four quadrants. And that was part of the reasons, or something like that, or
yeah,
you know. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of when I first heard all that terminology.
yeah. So the four quadrants are essentially demographics, moviegoer demographics, right? So you have men over 25, under 25, women over 25, and women under 25. Um, and if you're telling me that it appealed to none of those, then wouldn't you just be saying that the movie just nobody liked it at all? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird. It basically made me feel like people. Like I was
right,
like, you
like
just you broke down just the word people into technical terms.
right. Um, he said that people don't care about the characters much. I don't know how true that is. I think the Flash is a pretty popular DC character. Not many characters get TV shows, and he's had two of them in my
Hmm.
lifetime.
Yeah,
So if you look at it from that perspective, I don't know if I buy that one either.
it was just odd. It was odd seeing him for the first time. Really, kind of just almost seem embarrassed by the
Yeah,
film,
yeah,
and I just honestly just blame a lot of it. And this is now living post Flash, right? Like I think it all has to do with Ezra Miller. I think he was a much bigger issue than a lot of us thought, and
yeah,
his issues were just monumentally unavoidable. And I
yeah.
just think
I
that's what it
did.
comes down to.
I remember talking about it before the film came out. We did not think his legal troubles would be a huge
I
deterrent.
didn't think that many people knew who he was,
I
to be
know.
honest with you. But I think that's because I don't care about Harry Potter at all, and I think that is probably a bigger thing than I realized. Like, you know, I just don't give a shit about Harry Potter at all. It's totally
Yeah,
worthless to me. So like I don't follow it. I had no idea that, you know, he was even in those movies.
yeah. And I mean,
I know there were
there's many
spin-offs, but whatever.
layers. Yeah, there's a lot of layers to Miller too as a person. Um, that could be. Those are also issues that could always be possible when you're talking about people going to see a film.
Hmm.
Um, and it's a shame because I think it's a very good movie.
Yeah, and I think he acts very well in it too.
He
To be honest
does.
with
He
you,
does a very good job. Now, if you don't like that portrayal that he gave, that's one thing. That then you're not going to like it regardless. But if you're just watching the film
speaking
for just
directly to Kowalski.
well, I wasn't speaking directly to anyone. Oh, but maybe you are, because we
Spoken
know.
enough to him in the last 48 hours.
Yes, we know about your quote unquote beef.
He's so ridiculous. Oh, he's drinking Drano.
So there's a pull. Anyone who knows us should know what line that comes from. Uh, but yeah, so I don't necessarily agree with anything he said. It sounds like a director who's just trying to, mansplain, maybe not mansplain, director splain his way through why his movie didn't resonate, and just take it as the L and keep moving. That's what I say. Like,
It would have been cool if he was like, if I was able to cast my own lead, things might have been different. You know, I just think if he could have said
yeah,
that.
if we were able to recast, it is funny. It is. There's one thing that people wanted Grant Gustin to play that role, right? They wanted them to take.
I mean, I believe they were essentially cast around the same time. It just so
Right.
it's been a
So
debate for a long time.
I often wonder. Now, obviously, I don't think Gustin is a movie actor, but an actor's an actor, right? So you can, and a good director can do things with actors sometimes and get a better performance out of them. How do you think that would have resonated, though? I'm just curious what you think because you liked the show. You watched it more
Mhm.
than I did. I left it and came back.
I
How do you?
think the troubles of Ezra Miller were the reason this movie bombed.
Yeah, but
So
if
I
it was
think
Gustin,
I think
yes,
if you put anyone else in that role, I think things are different. I
okay,
really do believe that, and I didn't believe that going into it. I thought Ezra Miller was a no name. I thought nobody had any idea who this guy really was. Why would they care about his legal issues? But people did, and that's
yeah,
that's that's what it was. Ezra Miller sank the movie, and you know what? That's why what's his name isn't Kang anymore, right?
yeah,
It,
majors, yeah,
and I think Disney. I think Disney looked at the Flash and was like, "No, we are not. We will not go through anything like that. You guys will change this up, and we will just pivot."
yep,
So,
yeah, you're right. So, all right, well, we mentioned Muschietti directing Brave and the Bold, and if that ever happens, we still don't know yet because we have obviously the success of Superman is going to be a huge telling factor in what happens in that universe going forward. But people started banning about, well, what if Pattinson's Batman, Reese's Batman, were to end up in the DCU? And James Gunn spoke on it, and he didn't poo-poo the idea. He did not say no. Um, so he was kind of like he thought about it. Someone asked if they pondered. He's like, yeah, I contemplated it. I thought about it. I talk about everything. Then Matt Reeves was asked about it, and he said it really comes down to whether it makes sense. There was a story I wanted to tell, the epic crime saga. It's been important to me to play that out, and James and Peter have been really great about that. They're letting us do that. What the future brings, I can't really tell you. I have no idea. My head is down right now on getting the Batman 2 shooting, which is the most important thing. And then this was all during the Golden Globes. They were asking these questions, and they said if they decide we want Rob to be our DCU Batman, and Reeves said, I don't know. We'll have to see where that goes. So we've kind of touched on this last time.
mhm.
We spoke about this because the rumors were starting to come out like little dribs and drabs. You're starting to hear little things about uh, this. So I personally think it would be a bad move. Um, Not that I don't think you could do it. Of course, you can do anything. If you have a good creative team, you can do whatever the heck you want. Bring them in, make it go, tie that together if you want.
Mhm.
I'm sure you can. But for me, this Batman is a very specific type of story they're telling. It's a very specific style they're doing this movie in. I don't think you could do that, bring that into this world that Gunn seems to be creating based off just what I saw in the trailer in Superman.
Mhm.
Um, so I think it would be a bad idea. But until the thought is put to sleep, it's still a possibility. Who knows where they're going to be down the line?
Right.
So I don't know. What are
I
your what?
I think I don't think Reeves wants to do it.
Right.
I think Reeves has his own idea of what his Batman should be, and I think that's what he conceived and built, and so on and so forth. And I also think James Gunn doesn't want to do it because I think he has his own idea of what his Batman should be and how it should fit into
Sure.
his world. But I'm going to say this right now. At this point, I don't care. Make a decision. Go with it. Let's see if it works. Whether it's separate or together, I don't care anymore. I'm tired of talking about it. Let's just go. That's it. But you guys are 30, 40, not even. You guys are like 60-year-old men. Make a decision. Let's roll with it. It's time for you to just, that's it. Let's go. Everyone make a decision. I got ideas. We all got ideas. Every Batman is thought of in everyone's mind completely different from the other person. No one else will have the same idea as the other. So I'm tired of just speculating and what ifs and who could have, would have, should have, but a bullshit. Let's go. Let's make a decision. You guys get paid a lot of money. Let's go. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that. And we're so far out from this thing even happening. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even, why waste the time thinking about it now? Like, let these films happen as they're planned for now.
Yeah.
and then make your decision
I
later.
feel like we're all in agreement that they shouldn't be happening simultaneously. Like if one's got
Yeah.
an end, let it finish and then go. It's like you clearly have no problem just starting up Batman after the other one ends. We've seen it done twice already within the last like 10 years. It's
Yes.
just let's just go. Just make a decision. I'm just tired of it.
I'm with you. And Reeves also explained a little bit why, we talked the last time about everything being pushed back. And apparently he was going through some personal stuff. So
Yeah,
that's
and that's all
essentially what
well
it
and
was.
good, and I hope everything is on the up and up, and I hope is just everything in California. I hope everything's going great over there. I know it's a little
Seriously.
rough,
Yeah.
but just at this point, everything seems to be all right. So can we just all right? Let's get moving. That's all I got to say is let's go.
Yeah. Like, life happens. We're all humans and things happen. And if you can't, you're going through a rough period and you're not in your best creative space, don't forget these are creative people. Um, and some things happen in life where you just don't feel like being creative. And that's fine. That happens to all of us. Um, so yeah, it appears now, like he said, he has his head down. He's getting ready to, begin shooting. He wants to start shooting the movie. So head is down. He's looking forward,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see what happens now.
Yeah,
See what the
yeah,
movie comes
but
out.
it's like I don't know. I really I could care less who the Batman is in the DCU. Just it's
Yeah,
so far away. I don't know. Just and again, like I said, if this is what if this is a company mandate and you guys are forced to do it, so be it. But just all right, let's go. Just make it happen. I don't care what the decision is until because I may like it either way. I have no
you're right.
idea. I got to see it before I can tell you it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, what we know of that story and what we know of how they're planning it, they would have Pattinson's Batman would have to leave off where he's much older, right?
I
Just
guess I
because
don't
of
know, but then it's like if you take him for if you take Gunn at his Star Wars comment, then it's like it's not linear. There's no timeline. Like it can happen anywhere.
I guess. Yeah, that's fair too. That's fair.
It gives him an ability to just do whatever.
Right.
I'm just like I said at this point. I'm just make a decision. Just do it because I'm tired of reading stupid tweets and dumb thoughts and
It's
horrible
just the
takes
overreactions. That's
to
what get
everything
me. Yeah. It's just the
and
overreactions. I
and
don't
to
mind people
nothing either.
talking about it.
It's
Yeah.
everything and nothing. It's like there's nothing. Like for the first time, I actually feel confident Muccietti might direct the movie, but like who knows when the hell this movie's going to come out?
Right. You're right. Why let him talk about it if he's
Yeah,
not going to do it?
and it seems like he wants to do it. Like I don't. Again, it could be, ape on the ground for Matt Reeves talk. Like we've heard that before.
We have, for sure.
So what? That's Hollywood. Hollywood's a shady place. We got to stop acting like these people are telling us the truth all the time. This is the home of the Diddy parties. So
And things can turn on a dime, right?
yeah.
That's what we know as well. Things can change very fast.
So
So,
that's
but one
Hollywood.
thing we know that is here and that happened and that we're thinking we're going to get more of in the future is Penguin. And Kristen Milioti, who played Sophia, talked about the future of the character. And this was what she said. She did an interview with IndieWire, and this is what she said. It just seemed like there are infinite possibilities of where she could go. Obviously, I would want to see her get out of Arkham. That's number one. I don't want her in there. So I want to see her get out of there and then exact revenge. Maybe now she would be even more of a loose cannon because before it was pretty focused on Oz and gaining power. But depending on what happens to her in there, it could be an even larger target. I would love to explore that. Now, the work from the series and her character to me was one of the best things about the show. I don't care if they want to give more of her, then do it, and then build out and explore that part of it. What happens next?
Mm.
I'm
Well,
all for it. So
with the delay in the movie, there has been a lot of talk in circles about maybe possibly getting two streaming shows in between now. Just because now the delay is a year longer. So whether that we finally get that Catwoman show,
yeah,
they've speculated and merged ideas and so on and so forth, and we've talked about this before. Whether it's Catwoman or Selena and Sophia, the Falcone girls want to exact revenge on I don't know whoever. I'm all for it. I loved where that left off. I don't want to see her in Arkham. The Arkham stuff was okay. It was fine in Penguin. I think I got my fill of that, to be honest with you. But if they want to do just more mafia stuff, I'm all for it. I really like that. I can't get enough of that stuff. So if she wants to, try to revive her family and kind of go do something, maybe I don't know, maybe she tries to take over Bloodhaven or something like that, some kind of neighboring city. I'd be all for it. Or if she wants to, I imagine she probably wants to stay in Gotham and try to get back at Ozzy, though. Like he sent
Right.
her back to her most hated place in Arkham. Maybe, and who knows, like maybe it's kind of a time jump. Maybe they do it a little bit older. Maybe she's been in Arkham for like 10 years and she finally gets out, and it's almost futuristic in a sense, right? Uh, you know, I'd be down for something like that. I don't know. It all depends on what they want to give me, but she kind of stole the show. I went in there just ready to love Farrell and Ozzy, and she really kind of just surprised the hell out of me. So,
Yeah.
I have
Her
no
performance
problems with her coming
was
back at all.
not at all. Her performance was fantastic. Obviously, goes a lot to the writing. The writing, brings out the
Great
performance.
ass.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So, but I'm here for that. The Falcone girls, I guess. I would like something like that. I think that
Falcone
could be fun.
Fatales. I don't
Obviously, I
know.
wouldn't call it that. Whatever they decide to call it, um, whatever. But I think would be a cool story to tell. Um, Kind of like the anti-hero. She would probably be more of an anti-hero now than just a criminal.
I don't even. I don't know. Not really, because when anti-heroes kind of. I don't know. I don't even know
Well,
what.
Catwoman is. She's
Uh,
more of an
I
anti-hero.
wouldn't compare. I wouldn't put them in the same boat, really, though.
No, but
I
if
think they
they're
share
gonna
a common
be
goal and they can work together, but I don't think they're the same.
right, so yeah, so it'd be interesting. But again, whatever they want, if they want to give me more of this character, I'm here for it. So let's do it. Um, I did. I was upset for her that she didn't get the Golden Globe. I thought from the people
Who
in that
won?
category, she could have gotten it. She should have gotten the award, but she didn't.
Who
So
won? Do you know?
I don't remember. I
Okay.
just remember when I heard it, I was like, I would have given it to her.
Edie
But
Falco, The Sopranos.
she could have gotten it every year. She was fantastic on that
She
show.
was great. She was great. Tony.
Very good. All right, so you threw there's an article in here from a couple days ago that was a little interesting. More on the business side. Sometimes we talk about the business side of Hollywood. And so Warner Brothers fired its chief marketing person. And
Strategist, it seemed like.
yeah, strategist, yes. And the timing of it's a little weird because of obviously there's a lot of things riding on this year. So you're going into it, you're getting rid of somebody who was part of promoting Beetlejuice and Barbie and Wonka and all these successful films that they had.
They threw in Dune.
Um,
Dune was there.
yep, Dune, right. And now you're taking him out when you have Superman coming out and you have Mickey 17, the Robert Pattinson sci-fi film. And there's a bunch of other films coming out this year that kind of have a lot riding on them. None more so than Superman for us. Like, I think that's probably the biggest thing we're saying. So it's a little interesting to hear that they did this. Apparently, they're doing a whole reorganization, a global reorganization. They moved. They're not replacing the guy that they fired. I think his name is Josh Goldstein. That's his name. They fired him. They're not replacing him. But just from a strategy standpoint, what do you think of the firing?
I mean, first of all, I think it's a Tatiana Siegel article, so it's a legit article.
Yes.
She's the best of the best, and I never not read a Siegel article, so that's kind of why I put it in there. I thought it was interesting because they just signed this guy to like a 4-year extension over the summer. It seemed like, and they just fired her, into the new year. So I don't know how things have changed so rapidly. Um, it's just fascinating because you mentioned things like Barbie kind of took over the world, like Barbenheimer, right? Like
Yep.
that was a huge thing, and I know that was more social media than anything, but like Barbie got so much buzz. I feel like this guy was kind of onto something. I'm wondering what was, they fired him because they mentioned like old school thinking, and I'm like, well, it worked just a few months ago. Why don't we think it would work for Superman? It's very fascinating. I know Warner Brothers is constantly in flux. It seems like. So it just seemed like it should be something just worth letting people know, because I think, I don't think enough podcasts talk about real business. The only time they ever really mentioned it was when like Hamada was pissing people off for some reason, and I feel like these guys don't talk about the business side anymore. So I figured we'd just cover it a little bit.
Yeah, and obviously marketing plays a big part in the success of a film. Like we often talk about when films aren't being marketed, or the marketing happens really late, and we're kind of like,
It's
why
probably
is it?
also helped with the Flash that we mentioned earlier. Like that movie was horribly marketed. So I
Yep,
mean, he also had a hand in that too.
yeah, that's fair. That's a fair gripe. But yeah, it's a fair criticism, and there's a lot this year coming out. I went through some of the names, but there's some other films coming out too. The Mortal Kombat sequel. There's another Final Destination coming out. There's another Conjuring coming out. And these plans for marketing obviously are done way in advance from when the film comes out, because you have to get the ball rolling with sponsors and people like that. So very, very interesting that this happened at this time. Um, DeLuca and Abdi have been in charge, and apparently they're saying it's just a global reorganization. There's nothing like it's not a there's nothing going on. Of course, they're going to say that, but it is a very, very odd choice to do
I
this at this
I
time.
did
Like you
find it
said, when he just
interesting
got
though.
renewed. Yeah.
One of the most interesting things I found in this article was the fact that they were like, yeah, oh, by the way, Superman's going to be a huge hit. I was like, what? They
Yeah.
just kind of like threw that line in there real quick and then they moved on. And I was like, okay. Like, we haven't seen much.
Well,
But,
maybe they have.
well, no, me and you, like
Yeah.
we haven't seen much. Who knows what they got? Yeah. I mean, they got everything. But I was just, I thought that line, it just kind of was like a throwaway line, and then they moved on, and I was like, wait, let's go, let's talk about this for a second. What do you mean it's gonna be huge? You've missed on the last like 5.
Yeah.
Like a little more detail, please.
Yeah. Like they essentially, that's what they say. They're like, Superman's a massive hit, but everything else we don't know. And
I was like, really? I feel like the last Conjuring movie was a bigger hit than the last Superman movie,
yeah. I
right?
mean,
I feel
yes.
like Final Destination recently has been bigger hits than Superman.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to tell us that, people who like Superman and would go see anything he's in, when all we keep hearing about is how Superman keeps underperforming in movies.
Yeah,
So it's hard for you to throw that line in there for us to be like, okay, yeah, we'll buy that. Um, but yeah, a lot of industry insiders think that the next 5 movies that they're releasing are in some trouble, and they're not really sure what to make of them, and that this timing of this move is strange. So we'll see, I guess. But interesting article to read. And again, like Pete said, we like to discuss the business every once in a while, and get out of the fun stuff for a bit and discuss the dollars and cents, even though it's really not fun for us.
it gives you a headache.
Speaking of marketing, Warner Brothers marketing, um, Krypto is going to be part of the Puppy Bowl this year. So for all the NFL fans out there, every year they have the Puppy Bowl during the Super Bowl, and it's this really cute thing where all these puppies are on this made up, football field, and they're running up and down it, and then commentators and stuff like that. And apparently, Warner Brothers is going to be doing a tie-in with it for Superman, and Krypto will be there with James Gunn. So Gunn will appear during the Puppy Bowl with his dog Ozu, who served as the inspiration for the super dog Krypto in the film. Gunn will introduce a sneak preview of Superman and deliver a special message to viewers. So
I think this is
that's
pretty cool.
genius. Yes, I agree.
It's funny because this is probably that Goldstein guy's idea.
Yeah, exactly. He probably
But
did it.
I think this is a good way to get people just to know that there's a new Superman movie coming out. Obviously, using the hype of the Super Bowl. I think it's, and everyone's a sucker for dogs. Like Krypto alone got Bill excited for this movie. So
Yeah.
like, and we know he's got the coldest heart in comic book Twitter. So I think this is a huge win. I like the idea. I'm kind of excited to see Krypto and then Krypto's inspiration at the Puppy Bowl. I have no idea. I've never watched the Puppy Bowl. I don't know what it's even about. I thought it was just poodles. So like I thought it was like foo-foo stuff. So I guess I'll have to check it out this year.
It's very cute. I've watched it a couple times. It's a very cute little
Are they
thing.
all just small dogs?
Yeah, they're all puppies. I don't know what the age like puppy limit is, but
Mm-hmm.
they're all little puppies. And like I said, they have them on this like makeshift football field with end zones, and then they throw things on the field, and the dogs pick them up and they'll run in the end zone, and that's how they score points.
So
And
it's fetch. It's just
yeah,
fetch.
it's essentially fetch, but like obviously with puppies, they're playing with each other, they're wrestling with. It's very cute,
Okay.
very cute thing.
That's the
And
most Holzman thing I think I've ever heard. Puppies and football.
what? And football?
Puppies and football. That's the most Holzman thing ever.
Well, yeah. I mean, I love dogs. I love football. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a terrible stretch. But it's genius marketing because if you're trying to promote a Superman movie, this is like a completely different audience, in my opinion. You're promoting it
Yeah.
to a completely different audience. So
And it's also an untapped angle, like,
yeah,
being at Krypto. There's not a whole lot of firsts that they have left in them anymore, right? They wasted the first Wonder Woman cameo appearance. They wasted the first meeting between Superman and Batman. Like they wasted the first Justice League. Like there's a lot of firsts that we really have missed out on being special. That maybe the first live action Krypto can actually be something of value. Like
yeah,
it could it's an angle even for fans that we don't really have. Like we've gotten Super Pets movies, right? Animated, right? This is live action. It's a
yes.
different animal. No pun intended. That wasn't
Yeah.
intentional.
So I'm gonna watch. I usually don't watch the Puppy Bowl, or I haven't in the past few years, but now I want to watch it. I want to see this specific little scene they're doing with
Do they
Gunn.
still have the lingerie bowl? Do they still do those stupid things?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It used to be
There's
on, like,
lingerie
Spike.
football.
Yeah, I thought they did one of those things on like FX or Spike or something like that.
Oh wow, Spike! You're taking me back.
Remember Spike TV?
Yeah, I do remember
Basically
Spike.
softcore porn.
Well, it was branded as the man channel,
Yeah,
essentially.
Al Bundy TV. Bigums.
Spike. That's where they first started having the Star Wars marathons. Was on
Really?
Spike TV.
I
Yes.
think that's where the Blade TV show first aired, was Spike
Yep.
TV.
I think you're right about that too. The one with Sticky Fingers, right?
Yes. Sticky Fingers wasn't a bad Blade. The show itself wasn't great, but Sticky Fingers wasn't bad.
Well, he had the voice for it.
He did.
Like that. Yes, he had the
He
voice.
was good. He was a good bald Blade. I didn't mind him being a bald Blade. I think he's a little shorter than what's his name, Wesley. Though. I don't think he's as tall as Wesley. I'm not saying
I think
Wesley's
you're right.
tall.
I think he was a little shorter.
Yeah.
All right. So switching gears a little bit. As everyone who listens to the show knows, Pete and I like the horror genre. And we love Scream, the Scream franchise. So Scream 7 is in production. And Kevin Williamson shared a little bit of an image on Instagram. So production's officially underway. And he added a little comment. This was his comment, on Instagram. I'm not supposed to post about Scream, and I hope at Spyglass Media and Paramount Pictures will forgive me, but when you have one of the best days of your life, it's really hard to keep it to yourself. What an extraordinary day I had working with an amazing and talented cast and crew. They brought their A game and had my back every step of the way. I'm so very grateful for this opportunity, and to Wes Craven, who was on my mind through it all. The profound impact he had on my life and career is endless. What a day. I can't wait for tomorrow. And then hashtag Scream 7. So
I'm excited. Nev's back. That's all that matters. Let's get it going. Like, I'm just ready to roll, man. Like, I'm excited, interested to see the fallout. I'm very curious to see what happened when Sydney finds out Dewey's not around. To be honest,
yeah.
I'm just everything. Just I want to see how they address everything that happened in 6. Sydney's not disappearance, but her not being around.
Right.
Just everything out of that. I want to see what happens. And I want to see what happens with Gale. There's not many of the legacy characters left. So I kind of think they can't kill Gale and Sydney, in my opinion. So I'm interested to see what happens.
Does Martha come back?
I don't know. I don't know who comes back. I know the twins are coming back. I'm excited about them because I love them. So, but yeah, I'm in Who's the Killer? Like, that's always the best part. It was the worst part of the last one for me. It didn't work for me. But everything, it was, dude, it's crazy. Everything but the ending of that movie worked for me. The last Scream movie. It all worked for me up until the ending when RFK was announced as the killer and his kids. That was that's where I lost it. I forget what that guy's name is, but it was all working for me up until that
It was
moment.
Dylan McDermott or Dermot Mulroney. Dermot Mulroney, I think.
He looks like RFK to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about the Scream franchise, obviously, is you're always wondering who's Ghostface. So, let's hope that they nail it this time. I didn't love that choice last movie, but I didn't hate it either. It was whatever.
No, the rest of the movie's really good though.
So. Yeah, I really liked the film, so I could look past some things, and I guess that was some of the stuff I looked past.
And no more Force Ghost. I'm happy about no more Force Ghost.
Yes, we know you did not like the Billy Lewis Force Ghost.
Yeah. It was the worst part of Berea's performance was when she had to do that stuff. But other than that, she was great.
Yeah. So we'll see.
She's another one. Great ace. Fantastic.
Well, we're not going to get to see it this time, so
right.
That's a downside to everything. But as we know, the movie comes out February 27th next year, so we're about a year out.
I'm pumped.
Yeah,
I'm pumped. I'm excited.
So
I hope there's an 8. I hope there's an 8.
Yep, and of course we'll bring you guys more information that when we get it, we'll let you know about it right here. So keep tuning in. All right, so I didn't even know this was definitely happening, but there's starting to cast or talk about villains at least for it. So Hawkeye season 2. I didn't know it was happening, but
yeah, all right.
Apparently, Clint's older brother, Barney, who is Trickshot, sorry, is being thought of to be the villain. So
I don't know anything about this. I'm very interested to see how they can top season 1. I thought season 1 was phenomenal.
I did too.
And I'm going to miss all the Kingman stuff, especially. I felt like that was kind of what really kind of carried it along for me. That and the Christmas element. It's definitely a Christmas viewing, right?
It is.
So, interesting to see. I don't know. I don't know too much about Hawkeye, and he's a character I really don't know much about, to be honest with you. So,
there's a little synopsis that talks about him. Charles Barney Barton fell out with his brother after the pair escaped their abusive stepfather, and Clint became the protege of Jacques Duquesne. Barney would go on to the Army and FBI before turning to crime and becoming Trickshot.
All right. Archer versus Archer. Here we go.
Yeah, so which would kind of be cool, I think.
Did we ever get this in Arrow? Right? We got this in Arrow, didn't we?
Yeah. So it'd be cool if it happens. It'd be a cool little, family.
Is what's her name going to be in it? That's another question.
Who? Kate?
The new Hawkeye, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The last we saw of her was the end of end of the Marvels, the post credit scene.
Because I'm kind of curious. Like I'm like, oh, maybe I'm surprised now that we're talking about this that they didn't center this more on her. But I felt like the first season was so centered around her. So we'll see. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see if the Young Avengers ever happens. They talked about that with all of them too. So be interesting to see if that ever happens. I think that would work better as a show.
But I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in maybe some sort of flashback with Romanoff in Hawkeye season 2? Do you think there's? Do you think they could do that? Because I feel like
that would be interesting.
I think it would be, especially now that she's long gone. I think it would be a way to, draw people in. I don't know if that's a cheap way to do it or not, but if you tease her at some point.
There was so much dropped about their previous relationship that we never really.
What was it, Budapest? They always talked about.
Yeah, Budapest, and obviously
I always thought that was a show within itself.
Yep. Yeah. So it would be interesting maybe to explore that. That's not a bad idea. Mm-hmm. Pitch it to them, Pete. Send it to them.
Well, post this.
Send it to Marvel. Be like, what about?
We'll tag them. We'll tag them in the tweet when we announce the show.
That'd be awesome.
Tag them on Tuesday.
if your thought got turned into a show.
They won't. There's no way I can see a royalty check. There's no way they're going to pay
Money
me.
for it. Well, no, they're probably going to be like, please, we've been thinking about that for years.
Okay, fanboy.
So, some comics news. A comic writer switching sides, so to speak. Dan Slott, who's a longtime Spider-Man writer, is going to be moving to DC with the Superman Unlimited title. So
yeah, which is going to be part of Summer of Superman. So it seems like they got a whole initiative going forward, and I think it's cool. We'll see how this works. I mean, sometimes these writers they come over, like Bendis came over and it was miserable, and his Superman was horrible. So it's weird how they can write some characters and they can't write others. You think a good writer could just tackle it, but we'll see what happens. I'm interested to see what happens with this Summer of Superman stuff. I wonder what else they have up their sleeve. They have new comics coming. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get another cartoon or anything like that, right? Because you just got My Adventures with Superman. That's got 2 seasons, and we know they're doing a third there. So I wouldn't expect anything animated unless they have a movie coming out that we don't know about. But I always like the tie-ins and stuff when the movie comes out. Like I miss like tie-in video games. Remember those days?
Yeah, maybe they will have one for Superman.
No one's talked about it.
I know.
It's the best kept secret in the world. Then
I know that would be true if they
there
did
should
have
be a Superman game at some point. And they haven't. I haven't had played a good one. I think the best one I've ever played is probably Superman Returns.
I remember that game.
Yeah, there was one for Xbox. I think it was just called Man of Steel. That was kind of funky. And then Superman 64 is horrible. that was the first. That was one of the first games I rented and was like, I'm so glad I didn't buy this. Superman 64.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm interested to see what the Summer of Superman's going to be too. We know it's an initiative that they're pushing, but we have no idea exactly what it entails. So
maybe a new box set of some Superman movies. I don't know, 4K or something. I can't think of the last time they even did one.
I mean, there's a number of ways they could go with it. Merchandise, obviously, maybe a new clothing line with Super. I don't know, but Superman merchandise, memorabilia. But yeah, I mean, the movie obviously is the central focus of it. So, but if they're saying summer's 3 months.
Yeah, it's a long time.
All right. So we're gonna have to see what they do.
I hope that movie has legs.
Yep,
if it's a dud, it's gonna be a horribly long summer.
It's gonna go from the summer of Superman to the July of Superman, and then that's it.
Yeah.
No more. We're done with the push.
It'll be 2 weeks most.
The character will continue though, right?
It'll be. If this movie doesn't take off, I think it'll be a long time.
Another pun? Is that pun intended too?
It's not a pun. I can't help it that he flies. I think you got a significant wait if this one doesn't do good.
I agree. I don't know what it means for the future of DC in movies either. So
I think the only thing it won't affect will be Batman and Spider-Man.
Well, yeah.
I think they will try to pump out as many Batman and Spider-Man movies as they can. But at some point, I don't know if you'll ever see another Flash movie.
It sucks.
Think about it. How long you waited between Green Lanterns. That's how long you're gonna wait between Flashes. At least.
And we're not like Lanterns are not even getting a movie. You're getting a show.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a big screen thing. So
I don't know. You go. You're still waiting. So it's got to hit.
Yes.
Sorry, Blue Beetle fans are happy though. They got their one movie. They never thought they'd get one. Blue Beetle fans are very happy.
And it's outside of Susan Sarandon and the villain being
Yeah.
I liked it.
I mean, I'm a sucker for George Lopez, so
I've watched it not numerous times, but I've watched it a few times. So
have you?
Yeah,
I have not rewatched it, but I did enjoy it when I did watch it.
So
I'm waiting for Venom.
Oh gee, I think it's out now.
Really? So I guess it's on Disney Plus.
Yes, I think it is.
Oh God.
So honestly, Pete, it's not that bad.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't like I mean, we both didn't like 2. You liked 1 more than I did.
Yes.
So the fact I'm saying 3 is not that bad, you should be hopeful for you to be like,
but
okay.
they're still craving. It does. You know what I want to I gotta rewatch Madam Web. I gotta rewatch Madam Web.
Drinking game? Are you gonna be drinking when you do it?
Have a girls' night. Me, Madam Web, Batwoman. I think just hang out with my side pieces.
All right. On that note, let's end this one here before it goes any worse.
Socially,
go ahead.
Talk to me. Pete Illustrated. This show, Straight Outta Gotham. Then there's Spidey Coalition, and there's also, you can check me out on Batman on Film. And Ryan, whatever his name is, Lowers. The Batman Book Club. I'm all over there, so do that and enjoy those Spin Master figures.
All right. Facebook, Straight Outta Gotham page, Straight Outta Gotham fan group. Twitter, X, hit me up at Finally33. Finale33 is the spelling. If you're Knicks fans, at all_Nick_up on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Live stream every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. usually Eastern time. Facebook Live, YouTube, and X. All 3 places.
Nick's Twitter's been very interesting lately, Eric. Seems very negative.
Yeah. Twitter, Nick's Twitter?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Brandon Tierney does not seem very happy right now with the Knicks.
I kind of lead the charge about the coach, but I'm not going to go there here. I have a problem with the coach, so we'll see. They're still one of the top 4 teams in the conference, so
yeah,
we'll see how that plays out this year. But
27-16.
Yeah, they should have bigger goals by this point. And I don't know if the head coach to me just wants to win no matter when they play, and has no foresight for the future. So
Tibbs with his foot on the gas pedal, no kidding.
Yeah, in December, a meaningless game.
It's crazy. We're not even at the All-Star break yet.
I know. Team's up 20 points with 2 minutes left, and the starters are still playing. Don't get me started.
Good deal. Good deal. Not only Spin Master, good deal, but good deal. League Pass is only $50. It's already half off.
Seriously?
Yeah, I bought it for $50, and it's not even the All-Star. It's been 3 months of the season, and it's half off.
Because the ratings are down. They're trying to get people to watch.
Oh, they got me. Well, it's mostly because I can't watch the Devils now. Because I can't. Because rich companies are fighting with each other, so I can't watch sports.
Yes.
So I bought League Pass.
Yep. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut people know what we're talking about. So.
I told you I'm not watching the Nets. I'm not watching that shit.
That is a whole other show, because I could go into a lot of things about the Nets, but that's a whole other show. So let's put a bow on this one. Again, thanks. There you go. I can't talk. Thanks again,
guys. Did you learn
guys.
that in Iceland? Was that Icelandic speak?
Might as well have been when I was there, because I could understand what they were saying. But as always, guys, thanks for the support. We appreciate it. Thank you for coming back. Interact with us again on our socials. We like interacting with you guys as well. And for Pete, I'm Eric. You're listening Straight Outta Gotham, and we'll see you next time.
Booyah.
Soundstripe. Have faith. Have faith. Believe in your source.